Will Syracuse get quality transfers this offseason? To be honest with you, I have no idea. I hope so, but we don't know. But what I do know is this: Syracuse basketball is going to bring in a lot of transfers this offseason.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And on this week's Poll Friday, I asked you guys the question: over or under 4.5 transfer portal additions for Syracuse this offseason? I'm going to spoil it all for you right now. Syracuse basketball is going to bring in at least 5 portal additions this offseason. But for some context, all right? 2023, Syracuse basketball brought in 4 transfers: J.J. Starling, Chance Westry, Naheem McLeod, and Kyle Cuff. In 2024, Syracuse also brought in 4 transfers: Eddie Lampkin, Jair Davis, Jaquan Carlos, and Lucas Taylor. Syracuse is going to bring in more than the previous 2 years, and they already added William Kyle, the center from UCLA. In case you missed it, there is a mini podcast talking about William Kyle. Feel free to check that out when you are done watching or listening to this podcast. And it seems that you all agree with me that Syracuse is going to bring in more than 4.5 transfers this offseason. There were about 300 votes on this week's Poll Friday, and the over got 60%. The under got 40%. So a 60-40 split right there. And it's a numbers game. Here's where we're at right now with Syracuse. They have only 7 players on its active roster in terms of scholarship athletes. They got 3 guards. You got J.J. Starling, Kyan Anthony, and Luke Fennell. You got 3 forwards: Donnie Freeman, Sadiq White, and Aaron Womack. And you do have 1 center who they brought in last night in William Kyle. We are still waiting on the status of Peter Mastorovich, whether or not he is going to return to Syracuse basketball or decide to enter the transfer portal. But regardless, it does not really affect this week's Poll Friday over under 4.5 transfer portal additions, because even if Peter Mastorovich does decide to return, the Orange would have 7 open scholarships remaining on its roster. You're allowed 15. That's a new rule by the NCAA. It used to only be 13. I'm not saying that Syracuse basketball is going to fill all of its scholarship spots. In fact, I would hope they don't. And the reason why is because even the 14th and 15th guy on your roster is going to cost you NIL money, and that could chip away into the amount that you're going to need for a more quality transfer. That being said, you need to fill out a roster. You still need depth, especially because guess what? Hate to break it to you all, injuries do happen during a season. Underperformance does happen. And of course, you do want to have different possible lineup combinations for different matchups over the course of an entire year. So it is a delicate balance between getting quality transfers and also filling a roster. I think the sweet spot is Syracuse brings in 5 portal additions, whether or not Peter Mastorovich decides to come back. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, how many portal additions will Syracuse make this offseason? Coming up, we'll talk about positional needs for the Orange. So stick with me here on Locked On Syracuse. Life moves fast, especially when you have a family. One day you're watching your kids take their first steps, and before you know it, they're off to college, and that's why securing their future is so important. Fabric by Gerber Life makes it simple to get term life insurance that fits your family needs. With Fabric, you can apply for term life insurance online right from your couch. You can be covered in under 10 minutes, and in many cases, no health exam is required. You can get $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day, so protecting your loved ones doesn't have to break the bank. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their families. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. That's meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Price is subject to underwriting and health questions. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2-player projections, and if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first-inning runs, Prize Picks keeps every game exciting. Setting up a lineup takes less than 60 seconds, and when you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Daylight savings snuck up on us again, and if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5-Hour Energy has your back, and the extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. I've been staying up late watching all the tournament action, and 5-Hour Energy keeps me going the next day. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. You need one now? Grab a 5-Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized. Let's talk about positional needs for Syracuse basketball and why the Orange will ultimately bring in at least 5 transfer portal additions this offseason. Number one, Syracuse basketball needs a point guard. It doesn't have to be a quote-unquote pure point guard, but they do need a point guard. There is only one point guard currently on the roster, and that is freshman Luke Fennell. Even if you believe that Luke Fennell is good enough in the ACC to start day one for Syracuse basketball, he's probably not. You would still need a backup point guard in the transfer portal, but really, you need a starting point guard in the transfer portal. I do understand that JJ Starling can run the point at times, but he is much better as an off-ball guard. Next up, Syracuse basketball needs at least 2 small forwards. Currently, the only small forward on Syracuse's roster is freshman Aaron Womack. And similar to Luke Fennell, even if you think that Aaron Womack day one is ready to start for Syracuse in the ACC, he's not. He's a developmental guy. He probably is not going to see the floor a lot next season. But even if you believe he is ready for next year to play a significant role for this team, you still need depth along with Aaron Womack, at least 2 small forwards. But really, you need 1 starting small forward and 1 high caliber backup small forward. And then for Syracuse basketball, this next player, it doesn't necessarily matter the position, but you have to fill out a roster, a delicate balance between getting quality transfers, but also making sure you have enough bodies to last the entire season. So you got to get 1 more player after that. You could say a starting center, which would mean that William Kyle becomes the backup center. The issue with the starting center is that those guys are incredibly expensive. You could say a guard. You could say Syracuse needs another wing, but the point is they still need to fill an actual roster. What positional needs do you think the Orange need to attack in the portal this offseason? Comment in the comments section below. And how many transfers do you think the Orange are going to bring in this offseason? I want to hear from you in the comments section below. I think they're bringing in at least 5. They already brought in William Kyle. They still need a point guard. They still need a couple of guys on the wing. And, well, they probably need 1 more player, maybe a center, to fill out a roster for an entire season. As far as what is coming up on Locked On Syracuse in the future, Similar to what I said in the previous mini podcast, talking about the latest portal interest Syracuse is showing. Full podcast coming up could be how the rotation looks right now and what still needs to be done, examining more possible portal targets, and also keeping an eye out for Syracuse football if and when they name their starting quarterback. It's probably going to be Ricky Collins, but we'll have a full podcast when they decide to make that announcement official. Thank you for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On College Basketball podcast with Isaac Shade and Andy Patton. March is here, so be the most informed college basketball fan throughout the madness. You can find Locked On College Basketball on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Folks, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoy this podcast, be sure to hit subscribe. And if you could just do me a favor, just tell one or two of your closest Syracuse friends about the Locked On Syracuse podcast so this channel can grow and reach all Syracuse Orange fans. And I will see you all again soon.